Good evening, Jay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Leaders in Action Season 4, Episode 8 na tayo. Tonight, we talk about a topic that has taken over our lives, digital technology. The 2022 Digital Report on the Philippines by Data Reportal shows very interesting statistics. They say that there are 92 million social media users in the Philippines. In terms of platform, 83 million use Facebook, 56 million YouTube, 55 million FB Messenger, 36 million are TikTok users, 18 million users of IG, LinkedIn, Snapchat, and Twitter have almost 11 million users each. And in addition, we have 156 million cellular mobile connections, or over 40% of the total Philippine population.
Wow. Good evening, Mr. IB, and good evening, everyone who are joining with us tonight. Because of technology, we are able to connect with all of you wherever you are, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, and even outside of the Philippines. And yes, the world is connected 24/7. Mr. IB, naalala ko pa, in the past, we cannot leave our house without our wallet. Pero ngayon, maiwan mo na ang lahat, wag lang ang cellphone. One time, I was watching the game show Family Feud, and one of the survey questions was, ano ang unang gamit na ililigtas mo kapag nasusunog na ang iyong bahay? Mr. IB, guess what's the top answer?
Cellphone.
Tama ka dyan. Cellphone ang unang ililigtas. Hindi ang pera, hindi ang wallet, not documents, not even the television. Cellphone ang unang ililigtas ng mga tao. Nagpapatunay lang that whether we admit it or not, a big part of our life revolves around the mobile phone. But if digital has taken over our lives, it will be interesting to know how it has taken over the operations of a unit or an agency. But before we dwell into that, our big thanks again to Branch Manager Ana Pineda of Sun Life Financial for giving us key insights on how to run a multi-generational agency team and how best to manage the Gen Ys and Zs. So again, maraming salamat, Manager Ana Pineda.
Thank you, Ana. Digital technology has certainly transformed our lives. It makes it easy to connect with family, friends, colleagues, and customers, to order and buy just about anything, and watch favorite movies on demand. It is so fast and convenient to access information real time. Working from home is now possible, allowing families to have more time together without sacrificing work productivity. Online courses, virtual meetings, and seminars create limitless learning opportunities. Processes have been automated to achieve greater efficiency. Through online transactions, you can do whatever you want with your money in the comfort of our homes. Ganyan na talaga ang buhay natin.
Yes, but while digitalization has obviously made our personal lives more convenient, can we really say the same when it comes to an operation of an agency leader? Has technology really made it easier for agency leaders to manage their people? How have they leveraged on the advantages of technology so that they can do a lot more things effectively in a faster and more convenient way? On the other hand, how can agency leaders strike a balance between high touch and high tech? To give us insights on how digital technology is helping him make the work of an agency leader less stressful and more fun, We are very pleased to have with us tonight our special sharer, our guest, FWD's newly appointed Associate Financial Wealth Manager. Let's call in Mr. Juan Miguel Flores, or Migs for short. Hi, Migs.
Hi, Ma'am J and Sir Albi again. I just
Hi,
wanna
hi, hi, Mix.
Hello, how are
thank you.
you?
It's an honor to be with you guys here and maybe share a little bit of our story that maybe could support other agency leaders as well.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're looking forward to that, Miss. Thank you again for accepting our invitation. Napaka-interesting ng ating pag-uusapan tonight. So, let's start our real talk. So, marami tayong cover. So, I'll shoot the first question, Migs. Very briefly, una sa lahat, can you please share with us when did you start to join the industry? And what is your current profile and size of the team? At saan ba kayo nag-ooperate?
Yeah, really good question. I started February 2019. So it was not yet in during the pandemic, but what I could safely say was that the team really expanded at the height of pandemic. So it gives us a little bit of a blessing in disguise as far as the agency is concerned. So right now I'm Associate Financial Wealth Manager for FWD. In other agencies, I think that was an AAM, no? Associate Agency Manager. We currently have 30 manpower as far as licensed coded are concerned. But there are 20 more who's about to be part of the team within the next 2 months. So yeah, we operate not really on a specific location because since we're purely digital, so the operations and the business management of my team and my agency is really digital or virtually located. So I've got people from the forefront of the north, which is from Isabela and Pangasinan all the way to the south to General Santos City. So we are located into different parts of the country. Yeah.
I think that's really makes one beauty of the digital platform. No? Talagang ano, sabi natin, borderless na tayo.
Right.
When
right.
it comes when it comes to recruitment, no? When it comes to agency affiliation, kahit saan na pwede kang magkaroon ng recruits. No? So,
Right. In fact,
Mix,
ma'am,
wala
if
ka
I
from...
may share, yeah. In fact, ma'am, 100% of my operations in business is digital already. Yeah. Even my staff, even my operations, my admin is already 100% digital. All my recruits came from digital. Even sales. Even sales. Most, yes, of course, there will still be warm clients or, people that belong to the friends, to the family, to some referrals. But majority, I could safely say around 93% to 95% are already digital.
Wow. It's nice to hear, no? Kasi talaga ang topic nga natin ngayon is my unit or agency online, no? Because marami nagsasabi online sila, pero we really want to know kung gaano ba talaga ka-cover na nila, no, yung online operations nila. And we really want to hear more from you on that, no, in a while, no, sa ating along our discussion. But at this point, Migs, tama ba that you are under the team of Rasmussen and MJ Aguilar, no? Who MJ kasi was also our guest in season 2.
Right. Oh, wow. Yeah. He's actually my, so I'm the associate, he's the agency manager.
Agency manager. Migs, I just want to hear from you. How did these two leaders, no, or how have they influenced your own leadership style?
Well, I could firmly say this is beyond just business. MJ and I have been friends for more than 10 years. Even way before we were still not yet, in this business, we're already friends. We built the capital together. MJ's agency is called The Capital. We built The Capital together. It used to have only just 3 people, me, MJ, and the other associate agency manager. So we really,
Yung
we saw this
pioneer.
from scratch. Yeah, we saw this from scratch when nobody still believes in us, when, we were a lot younger. Because we still look young now, but when
Yes.
we were still, when we were still a lot younger, like when people still don't believe in us because of our age. And Coach Russ has been there to guide us when we were still very young. Therefore, I guess the leadership style I have now comes from that goes beyond business, wherein it's more of looking people as human beings, as people, building relationship with them because they're simply people, not just because they are my people or not because they are my coded or my financial advisors whatsoever. That was their influence to me. They've treated me as a human being first, then I performed. They empowered me to become the best version of who I am. Therefore, with my agency right now, I also do that to my people. Because just to give you guys a background, again, the demographics of my agency is between 19 to 22-year-olds.
Very
These
young.
are
22, ganun kabata ang iyong mga recruits.
literally young people. As in, literally in college.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
age
so
18 na nasa college pa yan, di ba?
yeah, kasi K to 12 na now eh. So, di
Yes.
ba dahil K to 12 na now, yung 17, 18 nila will be their K-12 and then na age 18 pa sila mag first year college. So,
College. Yes.
these are literally second year college to fourth year. Some even graduated last week.
Okay. And they are already your
And
financial advisors.
And they're performing. They're really performing really well. They're earning a lot. And I'm just so proud simply because you now see that in people. And if I ask them, why are you here? You know what? There is no obligation for you to perform or to do work right away. You can still enjoy school. It's much easier to be in school because your only job in school is, you just need to pass the grades and that's it. And then think about work, think about the performance after you graduate. But they mentioned to me, they said to me, you know what, coach, or Migs, you know what, Migs, it's not about that. I haven't experienced a level of care like you guys do in your agency, in your group. Therefore, I want to be part of it. And for me, that's a sense of fulfillment and purpose, which is why I think I was influenced by the people who've gone ahead of me, and because of that, I'm willingly giving it forward to these kids. Yeah.
That's good to hear, Biggs. And I'm sure we will still hear a lot of from you along the discussion natin dito.
Migs, alam mo, refreshing yung sinasabi mo that you've got advisors who are between 19 to 22. No? So what makes them interested to the career?
Okay. There are certain factors that, again, this is not Bible truth. This is just simply based on my experience.
Yes,
that
yes.
these people are looking for. Number one, of course, this is not my intention to attract.
All right.
I'm willing and welcoming to everyone who would want to be part of my group. It's just that maybe digitally, as I mentioned a while ago, 100% of my business runs digitally. The people who's seeing me and maybe who's taking the next steps, who's taking the ways and steps moving forward are people this age. Now, because of that, the very first thing they are more attuned of is personal growth. That's the top priority of these kids, which means I want to go beyond where I'm at. These are these 19 to 22 are very ambitious young people. They wanted to achieve a lot of things in my life. They've got a lot of energy. And now the question is, who will, again, Abraham's Maslow needs, who will help me actualize all of these, sleeping potential? So the very first thing that they're looking for in the group or in my space is really who can help me actualize and utilize my potential.
All right, I think that's very good.
Who will give me my aha moment, quote unquote?
Mm.
Who will give me my aha moment? How can I be guided towards this so that I can become more excited? They would willingly, in full conviction, I can say, even without pay, I wouldn't mind working even without pay for as long as my emotional need of purpose, of fulfillment, and of becoming better, of actualizing my potential is being fed.
I think that's again that's very good
that's
to very good to hear, no? And ayun na nga, parang there's so much energy, so this is one good way by which they can really make use of that energy. Migs, going
Right.
back to digital technology, the last 2 years, talagang dalawang trends na lumabas sa industry natin, which is the increased awareness on health and life protection, and of course, digitalization. Ano? And many organizations, siyempre nabigla. So naghabol sila, especially with respect to digitalization. Yung sa'yo, ikaw ba naghabol in your digital technology use, or from the very start, sinabi mo na ako, because of my age and I'm very familiar with this, kaya-kaya ko to, digital ka na from day one?
Right. You got that on point, sir. My mindset at that time, majority of people who are the most trusted in our industry are somewhat veterans.
Yes.
And one of the keys that maybe they have that I don't have, they have a lot of suffixes after their name. But they don't know one thing. They don't know how to capture the digital market. So when the president declared lockdown, I confirm you remember this, March 14, 2020, the president declared lockdown. It took me 1 week of transition because my mindset that time, because many people don't know how to use the internet. Now I captured the entire market. And at that time, it's not really about competition, but it's really about adjustment. How do I get to adjust right away? Because now in the industry, there are very few advisors or planners that are working at that time. A lot of people, a lot of our colleagues are waiting for the lockdown to be lifted.
Correct.
Yes.
But I wouldn't see it that way. The moment the Insurance Commission at that time, the IC released a circular, I don't know if you guys remember, released a circular that we are now allowing remote selling. That was the best day of my life. Because from then, at that time, I was still struggling when there was not much, because at that time, I was 25 or turning 25, 24, turning 25. At that time, I just feel that, with people my age, the market or the leads, my colleagues, my friends, or the friend of my friends, they're not that financially that stable.
Yeah.
Unlike maybe if the age range is around 35, medyo may naipon na yan, meron na yan naipundar, it will be easier to sell such products. But for people at my age at that time, one of the major challenges I've experienced is yung mga kasabayan ko at that age range are still starting just like me. So of course, as far as their spare money is concerned, hindi siya ganun ka
kulang.
Medyo kulang. What happened during the pandemic was, what if I now capture the entire Philippine territory? Because now we've got remote selling in place. If I can capture the entire Philippine territory, the only job I have here, I always believe this, is that my money or my contracts will always be dependent on my contacts. What can I do so that I am known and what they know about me is really good?
Correct.
I've now turned myself over to the entire internet market, to whatever platform I can be at. My analogy to this is I will not allow people to get to me, or my analogy to this is this. I will not allow people to get to the church to hear the word of God. No, I will bring the church to the market so they can hear. Similarly, that's the perspective I've done for myself. I will not allow people to know about me so they can hear what I'm about to say. I will bring myself through the platform of digitization to wherever people are at, which means when the moment they wake up, the platforms they will be clicking in their phones. I will put my name there. I will put my face there. From June to December, it has translated personally before I expanded this to an agency, because at that time, I'm still a financial planner. I'm not yet an agency manager. I'm still an advisor. But from June to December, if I'm not mistaken, I got a total of 72 sales.
Purely digital.
In 6 months' time. Purely digital. Purely remote selling. 72 case counts. And now people are start asking, what happened? How did you do it? 72 case counts is not, in 6 months, is not usual in our industry. It's beyond. It's above and beyond. And now I said,
the way I see it sa'yo, no, Migs, your story is parang there's an opportunity and you're ready to grab that opportunity. So in such a short time, sabi mo nga, your productivity increased, but I suppose during that period, doon ka na nagpadami rin ng iyong mga advisors.
Yeah, because there's so much demand. There's so much demand. Now I've got a lot of leads. I don't have anyone to talk to. Of course, I'm also getting tired, sir. Siyempre, kakapagod din. I also want my rest day. So I don't want to be meeting 6 people a day. It's too tiring. It's too exhausting. So how can I now duplicate myself here? From that, by the time I reached around September of 2020, I started my recruitment. All digital, aside from my wife. All digital. Now, we ended 2020 with a first-year premium of 5.4 million with 5 manpower. So that's how it started. And then now 2021 was all about scaling up, expansion. So from 5 manpower, we ended 2021 with 27.
All right. Congrats,
recruits, manpower, all digital. But this is where I'm sharing a while ago, the 19 to 22-year-olds from Pangasinan, from Isabela, from Baguio, all the way to General Santos and Davao. So now, these are, a lot of market is there. Why can I say so? And why do I have so much conviction to believe in this principle? Because I go to the mall. And when I go to the mall, how come Power Max Center has always lines? There are always lines in Power Max. How come in Louis Vuitton, there are always lines? Which means people have money. They've got money to spare. So the only job I have here and the only job my people have is find out where these people are, speak with them, maybe give them an introductory or two, and start converting them into sales. So,
very good. Again, very kitang-kita yung what's really innovative in the industry right now, no? And guys like you are really making the most of that opportunity. Jay?
Migs, very interested talaga ako doon sa sinabi mong your operation is 100% online. Migs, can you share with us what are the platforms, digital, the virtual, platforms that you are using? And siguro very briefly, can you share with us what are the advantages and limitations of each platform?
Thank you so much. Number one, of course, is Zoom. Zoom is my main platform for meeting people. So this is where I gather. This is where I do my assemblies. This is where I overutilize gathering people. And this is where we meet clients. Of course, the advantage of which is that wherever people are at, then we can cater. The advantage of which is that if for as long as people can have Zoom, then we can cater to them. However, the disadvantage, which I don't feel much as a disadvantage, is that there is sometimes an interrupted internet connection.
Yeah, in the internet.
So that I am, of course, affected.
Okay.
Number two, not many people have internet. However, I don't consider that as a disadvantage because my mindset or my thinking around it is if they cannot pay for an internet connection, how can they pay for a 10-pay policy?
Yes.
So I wouldn't want to make them as a client also because they're gonna lose. I don't want the policies to lapse because it's just gonna be a waste of money for them. So it's not that disadvantage, but of course the limits of the Zoom is limited to, to where if number one, do they have Zoom? Number two, do they have internet connection? Number three, do they know how to use it?
Yeah.
That's the first one. The second one will be, of course, Facebook.
Facebook.
Okay. And the advantage of Facebook, I just want to share my screen here. Right now, I've got, just to set as an example, right now I have, if I may share with you, this is now my Facebook. My Facebook page right now has approximately 75,000 people who's following.
All right.
Okay, and this is now where I put in majority of my content because this is not just becoming a content creator. No, this is all about converting people into, having more awareness. Awareness leads to an inquiry. Inquiry leads to a meeting or appointment. Appointment leads to sales. It's the same thing with recruitment. So it goes both ways. Now, of course, because I have 75,000 people here, I've got major engagements from this. So you notice this, for example, has a 353 people who's liking it, 162 shares. This, for example, has 3,000 people reach, so on and so forth. So what is the pros of Facebook? If you know how to use Facebook right, it will translate to many, many leads and many, many recruits.
So many opportunities, no?
Many opportunities. If you just take a look into my messaging or inbox right now, hindi yan naubos talaga. Coach, ito, as in right now, as we speak, hi coach, paano mag-invest wisely? My staff will, people knows this naman. My staff are the ones who respond with them.
Respond, yeah.
Yeah, but still, you notice 1 p.m., 12 p.m., 11:57, 7:53 a.m. Wednesday, all the way. Yeah. Now, what are the limits? This is not for the faint of heart. Because
yes,
of
correct.
course, when you make yourself a public figure, there will be people who's got a different opinion of you. More than that, there are people also, just like the recent elections, diba? There will be people who will bash you. There will be people who's gonna troll on you. The limits is, do you have, or do they have, or do people have a specific level or a certain level of adversity quotient or emotional quotient? Because of course, when people bash you, some people even bash below the belt. As in they go below the belt. What do you now do about it? Are you gonna stop? Are you gonna quit? Or will you continue to plot on and move forward? So that's another one.
In your case, Migs, how do you handle bashers?
I don't handle them. It's in the past because I got affected. Tried to, because if I take them seriously, it will just be a tug of war.
Okay.
So right now I've come to a point wherein I've got immune to it. Immunity coming from too much bashers. So I've got immune to it because what I realized, however, there is a time in January 2022 when not majority, but many people in my inbox are messaging below the belt. Some even doing death threats. Yeah. Of course, you can take it or you cannot take it seriously. But what I also found out, during that time, my sales increased 160%. Not just my personal sales, but including my people's sales. So what did I find out? The only way to move forward digitally is by going massive. regardless of whether people will say good things about you or people will bash you. Of course, another aspect of it also, hindi naman pwede puro walang kwenta, di ba? It will always must have value. But when you know, or when I know that what I'm posting out there are valuable stuff, I'm not posting anything that is immoral, illegal, or negative, or pessimistic, then even if I've got bashers, I'm gonna be okay. So that's Facebook.
Okay.
Next is TikTok. TikTok is a video platform. It's one of the fastest growing platforms in the world right now. That is where I started. During the pandemic, I started my TikTok last year, 2021. Right now, I've got a total of 242,000 followers.
Wow. And what's your usual content in TikTok, Migs?
Anything I can be authentic around. My focus is sales, business, and finance.
Okay.
Finance, because of course, one of my, I'm an AAM or AFWM from FWD, that's finance. Business, because I've got other businesses outside of FWD, but I can safely say FWD funded it.
Your number.
my commissions funded it, other businesses. So I really love this industry. So, but I got a coffee shop because of this business, and now because now I can have a coffee shop, I've got a training organization, I've got a water distribution. So all funded by this industry. I loved it. Now, more than that, because I can now diversify to other business, some of my contents are around that, around what did I consider when I started the business? Did I take a look into the risk? All of these contents. Number 3 is of course sales.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm good with it. And last but not the least, of course, some motivation, specifically for young people. These are the people who ask me on my TikTok, and I simply answer them, especially when they're young. Because one of the comments that really took my heart, there was this one comment in my TikTok that said, "Thank you, because if I did not see your video, my life would have ended." So that took me to another level, and that allowed me to feel, hey, I'm not doing something just for business. This is beyond business already. We're talking about human lives. We're talking about families. We're talking about real people. It has become a mission and a purpose more than just business. Then I realized also, since of course it's 242,000 followers, it's easier to recruit, it's easier to sell, it's easier to convert because now people are trusting me.
Yeah.
So these are some platforms that I really maximize. Of course, I do Google Office. If you're familiar with it, Google Sheet, I don't do Excel Sheet anymore. It's Google Sheet.
Google Sheet now.
No longer Microsoft Word, but Google Docs.
Docs na.
No longer PowerPoint or Keynote, but Google Slides. Why? Because it is real time.
Real time, okay.
Now anybody can access it. Anybody that I need to access it can now access it. For example, recruitment, or for example, BOP. Just an example, BOP. Now, if I've got people, hey, why don't you register through this form? And then people answer the form. Now they are translated to a Google Sheet. Now I don't need to report to head office anymore how many participants I will be having. Okay. Just look at the Excel, just look at the Google Sheet, you will know how many participants are there. So it's turning things into becoming more efficient, faster, and more effective. Yeah.
And Migs, these platforms are also being used by your team members, hindi lang ikaw. So they're also in Facebook, in TikTok, no, and they've also used itong mga Google Sheets, documents, and even the Zoom. Lahat sila sa ahensya mo.
100%.
100% talaga.
As in it's one of the requirements also. If you don't have a computer or an iPad or a tablet, if you don't have a computer, a laptop, or a tablet, please do not join my team, because this is going to be 100% digital. You must have load all the time. You must have an internet connection all the time, or please don't apply, because there's no other means of communication that we have outside of digital.
Okay. So from the start talagang manage yung expectations na yon, laid out talaga yung requirements na yon sa team members.
Yeah, here's the best part. Allow me to bida-bida, no? Pero allow me lang. Daldal
Go
lang.
ahead.
Pero okay lang po sana.
Go ahead.
Sige.
Here's the best part. Because of digitization, because I've got a landing page or a sales funnel. In the digital world, when you've got a sales funnel, it makes things very, very efficient. So what does it mean, or how does it look like? Yeah. When people now go to my site, for example, they can now either invest, they can either invest, or they can apply if they want to be a financial planner just like me.
Okay.
Now, the best part here, the moment I get information here, for example, okay, click here to apply. I'm gonna click here, then I'm gonna go into the application page. So of course, I've got the managed expectation here. Must have laptop or computer, must have cell phone with load, all of these things. Now, when people get into that, the moment they register, everything is automated.
Okay.
The next, the only time they will meet me is the sales training already. No, not sales training, because I have got a sales trainer. I've hired a sales trainer who's gonna do it for me.
Yeah.
So now, so they're gonna go through a sales trainings. They haven't seen me in face-to-face yet, or they haven't seen me in Zoom yet. And then after they go into a sales training, they will have a homework, which means the homework is really all about you practice to try what I do, so that you can have a feel of it already. If you really like what we do as a financial planner, or maybe this is not for you. When they accomplished the homework and they said, yes, Migs, this is what I want to do. I see myself doing this. That's the only time I get to meet them. They're already on the process of IC examination.
When does the interview come in, Migs? How do you assess?
I don't do interview.
So nobody in the team does that, or somebody else do that for you?
It's the internet. So basically, the way I do it,
Okay.
the first 4 processes is already, as I told you, it's like a recruitment funnel, right? And then that recruitment funnel is beyond the interview, of course. Why are you here? Why do you want to be? Why do you want to do what I do? All of these things are all on a video. So I've shot myself in a studio. So you notice one of my rooms at my house, this is a studio.
Okay.
So I turned my 1 bedroom into a studio, so that I can do, I can shoot.
Yes.
Now, then the first part, why are you here? Why are you doing this? This is who we are. This is what we do. These are some information about my agency. All of that is shot already.
Ready.
So they don't get to meet me. They don't get to see me. All of it are recorded, automated. So they're gonna receive it in their email, and they're gonna click on it, and then there will be like the next instructions, as if you're playing a game in the mall, or as if you're watching a movie. Yeah. So it's like that. So, and then here are your next steps. Blah 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 blah. All right. And then they're gonna accomplish it, and then the next video will show up.
Okay.
Thank you for accomplishing it. Blah 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 blah. Next step, until they already know what I do. They already know what my products are. It's important for me that they know what my products are, so that even if they don't see themselves as financial advisors, but they love the product, they can still buy from me. So it's hitting 2 birds in 1 stone. That's number 2. They know what my products are. And last but not the least, they know my culture. They know the values I represent. They know what my non-negotiables are. They know when my meetings are. So that if they say yes to it, hindi na sila mag-arte or whatever, because they know what they're signing up for. If they say yes to all of that, they will be put into a sales training to try what I do. Now, the moment they try what I do,
and they like
what I do, then they will meet me.
Meet you. Okay.
Yeah. But by that time, we've already qualified who are the peoples who sees this group or this agency or what the work that I do, or maybe they don't see themselves doing it, at least they're qualified already. They're automatically filtered out. Because the reason why I put in like that, one of the things that I notice in what we do is that we've sometimes spent so much time, you know, interview after interview after interview. It's exhausting, it's draining, and only to find out these people are not gonna push through. So how can I now take that away, save my time, and only speak with people who are truly serious to do what I do?
Okay.
I just want to highlight what you just said. Use really technology for things that can be done routinely or regularly para the value of the person is fully maximized, no? Mix klaro yung sa recruitment, how you use digital technology. Klaro rin yung sa how you do it in training. In terms of activating and making your advisors productive, how do you use digital?
Thank you for that. Of course, let me share it by, of course, I want to share, of course, what we've done. Para naman kahit paano meron akong credibility, no?
Meron naman.
Kanina ka pa credible.
Okay. So we've been, as an agency, we've been 34 straight months, 15 months since officially, kasi syempre unofficial naman yung iba, no? But officially, we've been 15 months back-to-back 100% participation rate. That's 100% activity ratio, which means there is no month that my people have zero.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
It is a no-no. So all of my people, these 19-year-olds are selling.
On the average, Migs, ilang sale nila every month?
Thank you for asking that. I can safely say, no, unang-una, I just want to give credit to them. They're better than me when I was that age. I just want to say that. For the record, they're better than me.
Because you put the system for them, Migs. Because you put
when I was that age. Some of them, of course, let me just share with you the entire picture. There are some of them that are really top performers. Ang tawag ko dito, grasya ng Panginoon. No? Because these are self-managed. They're really producers. These are, I've got one 20-year-old, 19 when I got him, just turned 20 last month, who's averaging a minimum of 120 to 160 a month.
Cases?
No. Premium.
Okay, 160 premium. Okay.
Yeah, 120 to 160 a month. 20-year-olds. When I was that age, I couldn't even sell 100,000 premium. That, of course, the average right now is approximately between 50 to 70.
50 to 70.
20% are going above 100K in terms of premium. Okay. Minimum of 2 cases averagely. The high hitters are going beyond or going above 5.
Okay.
Which is approximately 15 to 20% of my manpower pool. No? The question there is, I will not give targets. I don't have any targets. I don't even know what their numbers are. Okay, I'm just looking at the totality of the numbers for my personal training guide on where should I train next, what specific part of the process should I train next. But there is no business review that we were gonna talk about numbers. In fact, we never had a conversation about numbers. So for me, the activation and everything else, they only have one job to me. 2 things. Number 1, make sure that they have a meeting every single day. And number 2, they're practicing and doing the sales process as I've taught them right. That's their only job for me in my agency. You have a meeting every day and you do the process right. Because when I am very confident, the sales system that I've taught them, I'm very confident that the moment they do it right, the sales system will take care of itself. The sales system will always take care of itself. If you do the sales system right, it will take care of itself. Just make sure you do it right. So first thing, of course, you're supposed to have a meeting, because that's what we're up and about. Number two, you do the process right. When it takes care of itself naturally, there will be closes, there will be validation, everything else will follow.
So, ibig sabihin means, because of digital, effectively, yung concern for limited prospects totally eliminated.
Yeah.
So that's why yung mga
There
bata,
is no such thing as limited prospects. There's
Wala
100
na.
million Filipinos in the world, in the country.
Oo.
And in this country, mas gusto ng Pilipinong gumawa ng bata kaysa mawala. Kaysa ma-deads. That means, it only means one thing. The 18-year-olds every year are getting larger and larger by the numbers.
Yes. Now, does that
Which
mean,
means, yeah.
sorry, does that mean therefore that, for example, you have your own Facebook? That means that all of your guys have their own way of getting all of these prospects. And do they follow the same system as you've mentioned?
Yes.
Okay, right.
So they follow. So whatever I found effective, I'm gonna put that into a system. So that, because again, I just feel nobody can duplicate me because I am my own person. In the same way, they cannot be duplicated because they are their own person.
Correct.
But the system can be duplicated. So what I am simply saying is, I cannot make it about me.
Yes.
Because if I make it about me, they cannot copy anymore. And my mindset here is, for example, Facebook. This is how I've made my Facebook work.
Yes.
Follow the guidelines. All right, then the guidelines are good. And then this is my TikTok. This is how I've done my TikTok. This is how it worked. It may work for you, it may not.
Yes.
But experiment on it.
Pero at least meron na silang guide, di ba? Meron na silang guide. It's very important. Now, related to that, since alam mo naman you're into this, there's so much digital noise and clutter, di ba? How do you make sure that you and your guys stand out and get noticed? Kasi halos lahat parang nandun na sa space, di ba?
Yeah. First and foremost, of course, I am invested heavily on trainings. So at the height of the pandemic, that's where I put in my training investments are digital marketing. So you've got people like Grant Cardone, like Gary Vaynerchuk. I literally paid for their programs. So that our keynotes, I literally paid for their keynotes or programs just for me to get a grasp on how they've done it. These are marketing gurus in the world. So that's where I put in so that I can bring it to my team. Now, with all of this digital clutter, the first thing that I'd like to share with everyone, a lot of people I've shared this with, they don't like it, but let me say it anyway. The key to digitization is omnipresence. Why don't people like it? Because it's too much work. But it is the way. Which means omnipresence means wherever wherever people are at. When people look at their apps and they click on one app, my face must be there. Why? Because let's be honest, not majority, but there are still people who don't like me or who don't believe in me. But if they see my face often, then they will start to question, sino ba to? From, first and foremost, syempre, ang stage 1 yan is, di ko yan kilala. Sino na naman yan?
Scroll.
And then, stage 2, ay, ang kulit, hindi ko nga kilala yan. Stage 3, sino ba to? Bakit ba labas ng labas sa akin? Pumunta ako sa email, pumunta ako sa Facebook, punta ako sa LinkedIn, punta ako Twitter, punta ako TikTok, punta ako Instagram. Bakit ba puro mukha niya yung nandyan? Sino ba yan? That's all I needed. Kasi from sino ba yan, okay naman pala. 2, sige nga, panoorin ko pa nga. 2, may sense yung sinasabi niya. Sige nga, inquire nga ako. and the rest is history. So the very first part of it is majority. I've seen this for the past 2 years. I've shared this already in the past, pero I've seen this happen. The reason why a lot of people are not making it in social media is because tinry nila 2 weeks, tapos ayaw na. Kasi wala
Walang
namang
nangyari noong 2 weeks.
Yeah. But you know, me personally, 2 times 7 times 3. I had 42 videos without viewers before somebody views one of my videos.
Yeah.
So if I stop
Yeah.
maybe on the 40th or the 41st, maybe I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. But my thinking at that time is I will out consistent the audience. They will get tired seeing my face, then they will listen, and then the rest is history. Yeah.
I just want to again highlight what you're saying, no? In other words, yung persistence, you just have to be passionate about it and talagang tiyaga, no? And
Yeah.
question before si Jay, natutulog ka pa ba sa ginagawa mo na yan?
Oo nga,
Good
Migs.
question. A lot of I've got so much time.
Okay.
Because the moment I figure it out and it's already, of course, by this time, before, syempre, ano yan, mano-mano, di ba?
Yeah.
But right now, of course, I've hired na my video editor. So I'll just shoot and then I'll give it to my editor siya na mag-edit and then send it back to me. For posting na lang, for posting.
Yeah.
Kasi what I'm good at, I guess, is the moment, I think I'm relentless to figuring things out. I have no attachment to failure. I just feel that if I fail, maybe I'm just doing things wrong. So I'm relentless to finding out bakit mali? Bakit hindi nag-work? What is it about me that it's not working? How can I make this work? After I figure out what works, I just feel number 2 is I now will turn it into a duplicable system. Because if it's just me, whatever I know now may not be relevant after 2 years.
Okay.
So because of how fast changing the world is, so I cannot afford that. I cannot afford that my ego will kill me afterwards. So I cannot make it about me. I will turn it right away into a duplicable system. Now, when it's turned into a duplicable system, when it's systematized, I can now focus on other things. It's either I will have my team follow that system so they can create the same result, or I will hire someone to execute a system because I'm a fan of hiring people also. Kasi nakakatulong siya sa pamilya, di ba? It's livelihood. So I'm a fan of hiring people also. They execute the system I've created. Then now I buy my time back. Now I've got too much time to do other things. So I can figure things out as well. Yeah.
Very good. Wonderful. Jay.
Yeah, very good talaga, Migs, ha? Talagang fascinated ako sa iyong mga sinishare. Now, after sharing with us lahat ng benefits of being digital, meron din kasing mga high risk involved sa technology, such as yung data privacy breach, yung fraud, and even fake news. Sabi mo nga kanina, yung mga bashers, mga trolls. How do you make sure that you protect your team against these mga risks, Migs?
To make them internally ready. Because we cannot really take that out. Of course, as far as, how do I say? Data privacy, of course, things that I ask people to answer. Pag walang consent button yun, madi-data privacy tayo. So, of course, one of the ways to avoid it is magkaroon ng consent button. I consent that this information will be shared to the owner of the form, but only to this purpose and not elsewhere.
Okay.
So, meron yun.
Covered. Covered.
Yes. So, yeah. So, kailangan may consent yon para at least wala na tayong data breach, no? Okay. Number 2, as far as yun nga, mga trolling, mga bashing, ano yan eh, we cannot take that away.
Yes, yes,
Meron even posters mga fake accounts.
yes, that's true. Oo.
Sometimes even Facebook or TikTok is not even helping me to take away those fake accounts. So the only thing I can do is to block them.
Okay.
Now, as far as trolling are concerned, really prepare my people internally. Inuunahan ko na sila, you will experience this. Huwag mo nang personalin. Hindi to tungkol sa'yo. You meditate every day. You do your prayer time every day.
Yes.
You gotta prepare yourself internally because it's either you go for it and overcome or you will forever be stuck with no clients or no prospects. Kasi kasama yan eh. There are so many bashers or trolls, I kid you not, there are also more and more and more prospects, leads, and recruits. So maybe just focus on those three instead of the other one. So yeah.
So I think
internal preparation po.
Yeah, that's true. Control what you can control, no? And those that you cannot control, just make sure that you do some systems in place, no, to avoid that. Next, second question ko, how expensive it is to be 100% online? If I am a leader who is just planning to put my operations 100% online, where should I start? Where should I really be investing on?
Okay. First and foremost, you don't have to start right away with big massive expenses.
Okay.
First and foremost, of course, internet. Given na yan. Mura na lang naman internet ngayon eh. Nagmumura na siya lalo, no? So, we now go, the very first thing that I need people to have is a premium Zoom.
Premium Zoom.
Kasi mag-meeting kayo after 40 minutes, babay na. Parang, di ba? So, you don't want that. Number two, it's either a premium Spotify or a premium YouTube.
Okay.
Bakit? Magpapaplay ka ng video, magpapaplay ka ng inspiration, tapos ang unang bubungad si Shopee. Shopee, di ba? Tapos skip ads in 5 seconds. So, ayaw natin yon. Ayaw natin yon. So, we want to make sure. And third thing is a possible Google Drive na, although 15 gig naman yan eh, malaki naman yon, pero possible, ang total nito this is 700, YouTube Premium is like 150 pesos. A Google Drive is like, if I'm not mistaken, 150 pesos. So that's 300 plus 7, that's just 1,000 a month.
1,000. Okay, so for a
month
1,000,
lang.
yeah, you can have limitless opportunities and access sa social media.
Yeah, kasi ang Facebook page naman is free.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pero tingin na ako.
Yes,
pero
po.
ang maganda diyan yung content. 'Di ba?
Yeah.
Paano yun? Kasi for example, baka in your case, kayang-kaya mo yun. Pero yung mga iba na hindi masyado on the creative side and it might be a challenge for them, how will they, meron namang outsourcing yan 'di ba?
Okay, number one, possible yon to outsource. If you can just pay for someone to do it, the better. However, for people who want to see themselves or sila mismo, hindi, gusto ko ako yan.
Yeah.
Yeah, possible din.
Yun.
The thing around content is that it's more of a consistency thing more than a quality thing.
Okay.
Why? Because quality is subjective. In my experience, there are certain videos I've posted that I feel is the top most quality. Nilangaw. Nilangaw po.
Okay.
Wala. Talo. Meron din naman, alam ko parang sakto lang, okay naman.
Pero
Pumutok. 1 million views. So what do I mean? We cannot really know ano yung puputok sa hindi. I got this from Gary Vaynerchuk in one of his keynotes. He said, quality is subjective because what is beautiful for you may not be beautiful for me.
Yeah.
And vice versa. But consistency is quantitative. You can measure it. How consistent are you? How many times you post every single day? Sabi ko nga, it took me 42 videos before somebody watched my video. Pero from there, nagtuloy-tuloy na.
So visibility mix is very important.
Visibility and consistency,
no?
Or consistency rather. Yeah, opo.
So yung following do sa sinasabi ni Mr. Ivy, and maybe this is my last question na Migs, no? Kasi ito na,
Opo.
patapos na tayo sa ating discussion. Ang dami, ang sarap kasi ng ating usapan. Sabi nga ni Mr. Ivy, sa mga young ones like you, no, yung mga millennials plus, the Gen Ys and the Zs, since you are digital natives, no, really being on the digital platform is almost no concern for you. Okay? Talagang nabuhay kayo dyan, pinanganak kayo dyan. But how about those sa aming mga generations na talagang tatanggapin na namin ni Mr. Ivy sa generation namin, hindi na kami ganun ka-comfortable, or we may not be as creative, no? Sabi nga ni Mr. Ivy kanina, yung paggawa ng content, ano bang pwede mong mai-advise, no, sa aming mga katulad na who also want to maximize the benefits of the social media or the digital platform? Ano ba ang pwede namin gawin?
Okay. Good question, ma'am, no? Of course, it comes from the principle po na technology will never move backward. It will just continue to move forward. It will just continue to improve. It will just continue. Right now, there is what you call a Web 3.0 already. I'm not that familiar with it yet. I'm just hearing it. So parang may bago na naman. Ang bilis naman. So hindi na talaga siya pwedeng maialis sa atin. Now, of course, for yun nga po, the older generations po, or the veterans. Number one, if you can hire na lang.
Yeah.
Okay,
Opo, number one, if you can pay someone to do it, then pay someone to do it. The difference between us and you guys is that you guys have more budget than we have, di ba? Kasi yung mga pearls na yan, opo, madaming kaperahan yan. No? So, if you can outsource, tama po yung sinabi ni Sir Albi, no? If you can outsource. If you can hire. If you can delegate. You don't have to be the forefront of it, no? There are some people also that I'm saying, you know what, just hire. If it's not something that you're comfortable with, just hire. Number two, including delegate a marketing team. You know, come up with a marketing team and let them handle it. Because hindi naman lahat comfortable also with sharing, with showing their face to the camera. Hindi rin naman lahat native around it. So that's fine also. Then find other means and ways. The most important is there's awareness and recall. People know who you are, or what your brand is, or what your agency is. That is beyond the products that you offer. Kaya naman yung iba yung iba pumapalpak with regards to digital age, puro na lang promote. Puro na lang sales. It must go beyond that. We have now entered into the content economy. Those who bring in more content gets more credibility. And those who gets credibility gets the leads. So you can either hire or delegate. Now, if you don't want it and you really want to go for it, study about it. But last but not allowable po. Last but not allowable is to resist it. Hindi na po pwede, no? To resist. Not allowable po to resist the digital age, because whether we like it or not, even po contrary to popular belief, there are already Gen Zs that they're doing things like Discord, like Twitch. Hindi ko rin po alam yan. So, but I'm learning from them. So, sige nga, teach me about it. How does it work? I really gotta listen to them. Sabi ko nga, akala ko ako yung millennial. Kasi pag millennial, kayo yung kabataan. Ngayon, hindi pala. Kapag ikaw yung millennial, kuya ka na. No?
Kuya ka na. Oo, kuya ka na.
Okay, hindi pala. Hindi na rin ako nakaka-relate, but I have to. I have to learn their world, because it is no longer the future. They have already integrated with us po. Yeah.
Maraming salamat, Migs, maraming mga lessons, no? And truly we are at that stage that the developments in this space is very fast. And you're correct. Can never resist, just adapt as much as you can. So patapos na tayo. We just want to thank you for your very practical and useful tips on being online. And as we've mentioned, digital technology is really here to stay, and leaders, we just have to embrace and learn. And as Migs has shown us, kaya naman i-master to either by yourself or outsource it whenever possible. So once again, Migs, maraming salamat, and continue to really spread the gospel of insurance via digital.
Yeah, thanks again, Migs, for your very generous sharing. Ang dami naming natutunan, no, ni Mr. Ivy, and I'm sure yung ating mga audience. As you have said, depending on how we see and use it, digital technology can be our worst enemy or it can be our most powerful allies. So leaders, as always, the choice is yours. Maraming salamat also sa ating kaibigan, CAO June Marasigan, for connecting us with Migs. So salamat at sa uulitin ka Ibs. And of course, to all of you, thank you again for spending your Thursday evening with us. As I've said, I'm sure marami kayong napulot sa sharing ni Migs. Make sure na kung ano man po yung inyong napiling gawin, no, ay i-apply na kagad natin. Otherwise, ay makakalimutan na naman natin sila. And we do invite you again next week.
So leaders, we invite you next week once again on Thursday, June 30, 8 p.m. here in Leaders in Action.
Real leaders,
Real stories.
And real talk.
Bye everybody. Bye Mix. Thank you very much.
Hey,
Bye.
salamat.
Thank you.
Bye. Salamat.